asking pain-oriented questions. 'Cause I know we focused on it, and I felt comfortable, and then we moved on to price.
Okay.
And price was actually a lot easier than I thought it was. But yeah,
Okay. All
but
right.
but like the pain part, I need to like drill in the pain with people.
Okay. Well, especially because price gets even easier when you've drilled into pain. If you're already
Mhm.
finding price being easier than you expected and you get better drilling into pain, that cascades also even more into price. So it gets
Yeah.
even easier. Okay. So what was the pain of that $32,000 deal? What was their pain?
So the house was inherited from I don't even remember his mom or his aunt or someone, and so he's been living there for a few years, and
Okay.
it's like he's an older gentleman, but he just wants to move. It wasn't anything significant. It wasn't anything huge. He just wants to move because the house is kind of falling apart, and he's on Social Security, I want to say. And
Okay.
so the money he's getting from that, he can't really afford to pay for like the taxes and the insurance, even though he doesn't have a mortgage, and he doesn't have a car, so he's been using money to get an apartment and then buy a car. So yeah, that was it. So it wasn't like
But
divorce or foreclosure.
that's a lot of pain because that's pain
Yeah,
built up over years of never feeling you have enough money, not being able to afford a car. I know it's not like a sudden event, but that's a death by a thousand cuts type of thing,
yeah.
right? So like my answer thing is like, man, how long have you felt like you just haven't had any money? Like, oh my God, like people could start breaking down. Like, how's that been affecting you? Has there been things you wanted to do where if you could have had, $30,000 in your bank account, it would have been way easier. And now it becomes a lot easier to be like, oh my God,
Right.
right? So that's my natural thing there. So what are some other, we can talk about like diving into pain a little bit more. So what do you feel is the hardest thing for you about asking questions about pain?
So I think it's two things. I think the first thing, which is a big deal, but not as big of a deal as the second thing, I feel like I just skip over it because I'm so anxious to get not anxious, but I just want to get to the price part,
Right.
which doesn't make sense because if you build in enough pain, then the price is easier, as you said, and it'll
Yeah.
get easier as I get better in the pain. So it's that, and then I just need to memorize more questions. I need to memorize
Okay.
more questions, and then I've slowed my brain down a lot to actually be in the moment in the conversation with the seller. But I think I need to slow it down more and really pick apart what they're saying and ask specific questions about a specific sentence or specific word or a couple of words.
So the natural types of without necessarily having to memorize every single possible variation of question is there's usually three main types, or really sort of like four types of questions around that pain. And I haven't written this down. I'm just sort of just coming this off the top of my head as I'm realizing this.
Okay.
So I don't like have a sheet to send to you. It's probably worth doing. But it's usually basically like, what's going on? Would you tell me more about that? Right? Like just basic, broad, introduce what's been going on. And then like just asking for more information. Would you be willing to, okay, you told me X, you told me Y, and Z. Would you be willing to tell me a little bit more about that? Just like literally with tonality, they might reveal more information that reveals more pain. Let's just tell me more. The other three is like a version of how's that been affecting you? Like it doesn't have to be that exact question, but it's a version of like, how has that been affecting you? And then how long is that, first one should usually be how long has that been going on, right? So it's like, what is it? How long have you been feeling? Gosh, you mentioned you've been feeling stressed out. How long have you been feeling stressed out? Like, how long has that been going on? Oh man, 2 years. People I talk to, they usually say, and they're been stressed for something like that. It's been 2 years. They usually find like that stress, even if it's nothing else changes, the very nature of being stressed out for years means it's more stressful after years than even at the start. I don't know if that's the case for you, right? Just even how long it's been going on. Then how has that been affecting you? Has that affected like your life? Has it affected your sleep? Has it affected your work? How has that been for you? Right? Like what's going on for you about that? And then the sort of fourth level after that is how's that been affecting other people, especially if they have a family. That's the one, because sometimes you'll be talking to, and I can know about it from my own experience. I can deal with I just did a whole episode about dealing with stress, right? Like I can deal with a lot of discomfort and pain and suffering, but like the idea of my like wife in pain and discomfort, like, well, it would break me, right? So that thing of like, that's usually true. Like, what is it? Tell me more about that. How long has that been going on? Did something has it gotten worse? Right? Did something happen initially that caused that? Like, tell me more. And then typically when people have been stressed out about, not having an example, not having enough money, and they've done on their mind basically for years, like that starts messing with their sleep. That starts messing like just with how they're feeling. They're feeling tired. Like it just wears on them. I don't know if that feels like that's been going on for you. Guys, has that been affecting you in any other ways? Like just more about how that's been affecting you. And then finally, like, hey, if you tell me this has been messing up your sleep for years, oftentimes people have friends or family in their life that when they see you sleep deprived, like that affects them in some way. Is there anyone else who's even been affected by this going on? And just like that ladder, I can ask that about any situation you're talking about. If I'm thinking about what is it, tell me more. How long? Did something change? Did it get worse? How's it been affecting you? Has it affected your job? Has it affected your sleep? What's that been like? And has that been like for other people, especially if they mention other people? That's the usual sort of 4-point trajectory, that if I just think about moving that type of thing as a new pain gets introduced, especially as it relates to the sale of the home, like I'm taking people sort of through that journey.
Okay. I love that. And I love that you did that, because that's how my brain works. I know
it does. That's why I did that.
Yeah.
So I don't have that written down, but you can tell how much I talk about sales and trading. And I was like, let me convey this to Isaiah, how I think this will help for him. I've never said that out loud before, but I was like, by even trying to form that for you, it helped me figure that out. So yeah, it's really like,
thank you.
Yeah. So this is a different thing we usually do, but I want to hammer the point home, especially because this has been an issue. So we're going to role play suddenly right now. I'm going to be that guy. And based on that sort of order, you can ask me questions, just getting practice on that. So like, yeah, honestly, right now I've got Social Security, so I don't really have enough money to fix up the house or, enough extra to buy a car or anything like that. So if I could just sell this house and not have to worry about the taxes and stuff, even though I don't have a mortgage, it would be way, way easier on me.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. But even if you don't mind me asking, how long has that been going on for?
How long has not having enough money for? Man, I haven't had a job that's paid me for years. As far as I can remember, money's always been an issue for me.
Okay. No, I understand that. And so shoot, okay, stop right there. Okay. Yeah, so I understand that. So it sounds like, if we could get this done at a price that works for you, you would.
Oh, you moved on too quick.
I did.
You went to price because you're more.
Yeah.
The reason you went to price is because it comes more easily to you, and the pain is hard. It doesn't make sense because it makes perfect sense because price is easier for you. So you're like, let's get to the thing I'm better at. But like, if you can spend time in pain, like you don't even have to be good at price. That's the other thing. So, but you're going to the thing you're good at. But now again, it's good to be good at price for sure. But like spending more time in that discomfort is actually like, it's uncomfortable for them too. It's part of the reason it's probably uncomfortable for you is because it's uncomfortable for them. And you can feel that. And that doesn't feel good. And you feel like you're maybe hurting them or why don't I just avoid that entirely and get to the price thing and we can talk about how I can fix their problem. The problem is these people are less likely to feel like compelled to take action if I haven't done that. We have to think of it like, remember you did the virtual event, you're taking the bullet wound out. And taking the bullet out can hurt. We imagine it can hurt even more than the first time it went in because it takes longer to get out. You got to move around with tweezers but we got to get that bullet out so that they can heal. And if you can just literally think of it like if the guy who takes the bullet out goes like, yeah, but I don't want to hurt this person, they're already in pain. You leave the bullet in and then it gets infected and then they can't get help, right? But this guy could have never paid the taxes. He would have got nothing for this property. The government would have taken it from him. That's how that works. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you lose the property if we can't get them that. So with that in mind, it's like, remind yourself, like, this is extracting the bullet. That can hurt more than even the first wound. But like, it's worth doing because that way they can finally heal. That when I get to when I'm more comfortable with price, it's not even that like, It has nothing to do with you. It just truly has to do with helping them more. They will be more receptive talking about price if you really spent more time in paying.
Okay.
So let's do it again.
So,
I want to reiterate this point. So I'm just going to say it's like basically the same thing. And you can, in fact, even ask me a different what question. Or here, why don't we switch it? You be you first, and then I'll go through kind of how I would do it. And then we'll go back and have you do it again. Because that way you can sort of see how I do it. So give me the line that you've given out. You'll see what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just been hard. My Social Security is barely enough to cover dog food and cat food, and I told you I don't have a mortgage, but paying the yearly insurance and taxes is really hard. And obviously I don't have a car either, as you know, because I can't afford a car payment.
Gotcha. Man, it sounds like you've been feeling what it's like to just like not really have any money for quite some time.
Yes. It hurts.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, and I totally understand what you're going through. When you say it hurts, like, how long has this really been going on? Like, how long have you had that feeling when you're just trying to buy dog and cat food that like you're providing for your pets, but you can barely provide for yourself? How long have you had that feeling?
Probably, I don't even know, a year and a half, maybe.
Okay, man. So like year and a half's worth, you've been thinking every time you're buying food for your pets, it's like you can barely afford to do that, let alone buy something for yourself. Has that been showing up in any other ways in your life? Like, I know a lot of people that years potentially of feeling that level of stress and scarcity, like that can affect their sleep, affect their health. Like, has that been affecting you in any other ways?
Yeah. I've got some friends, and I don't really like to invite them over because the house is in a wreck, and you obviously want to see your friends when they come over, and so I feel bad inviting them over and not being able to feed them anything. And so it's affecting my social life, it's affecting my sleep, because I do think about it quite often.
Yeah. How long has it been affecting your sleep for?
Probably 9 to 12 months.
Oh my gosh, the entire time basically you've been not getting the right amount of sleep.
Correct.
Gotcha. And you mentioned your friends. Do you think they know you've been struggling with finances?
No. I make sure I kind of mask it enough to where they don't know that I'm struggling.
Oh man. So you're putting on a mask that's hiding not only your struggle, but probably even hiding your sleep exhaustion from being worried about barely having enough money to provide for your dogs and cats, let alone for yourself.
Yeah, it's been really hard.
Like, if you don't let me ask it, I know it's kind of a tough question. Does that mask that you're having to put on your friend, does it feel heavy sometimes? Meaning that like you feel like you're almost unable to entirely be yourself because you have to make sure that mask stays on.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's the thought and stress about money is always in the back of my mind. Even when the mask is on, it's always in the back of my mind. I'm always thinking about it.
Okay. So you're stressed whether or not you've got the mask on or not.
Yeah.
Okay. If we can take care of that for you, you see what I mean? How much easier is price going to be? And it didn't take that long. And not everyone is as receptive or as open, but I know it's happening later in the conversation. But that version of that, like, right? So what stood out to you about what I did?
Something that you do very well that I really want to get better at. I feel like what I do is I'll ask you a question, you'll answer it, and then I'll just go to the next question. What you do that stood out to me is you'll talk about what they talked about, and you might even add some emotions to it and let them agree or disagree with you. So I'm very like point A to point B. You're very point A, and then you'll squiggle around and talk about some other stuff that they brought up, and then go to point B.
What am I adding? It's always challenging pain emotions, and it's always things that would be fixed with the sale of the home. So I'm like, because my whole goal is to build up the weight on that of like not taking action. I mean, another question could even be like, I mean, if you can ban, like, how much longer do you feel like you can not afford to pay taxes before like the government starts stepping in, or maybe you've already even gotten a letter, right? Like, oh man, so we've got a whole new level of urgency where it's like, what did the letter say? Oh my gosh, how did you feel when you saw that letter? No wonder you don't want your friends to work. What if you came back with your friends and your friend saw that letter line, like, right as you open the door. Especially because like, oh my God, my friendships are at risk, right? Based on what you said, it's like, I might not have any money, but at least I'll lose my friends because I've been dishonest with them. Like all these things that are based on what you told me. All that is active listening. I'm not even really thinking about what I'm saying next because I just know in general, tell me more about your pain. How long has it been going on for? How's it been affecting you? How's it been affecting other people?
Please.
All right.
I just want to say I appreciate you being flexible with my time. So
Oh, cool.
I really appreciate
You
that.
can book it anytime. Like that's why I have these times open. That's like, and honestly, I say I had to. Like, it's not for you. For future people, I had to raise the price of one-on-one. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah.
One-on-one doubled in price for future people simply because it is a time commitment. Something I love doing and want to do. But like that's what I got this time for. So I'm happy to be flexible for it. The whole purpose of this is to make sure you can get customized help at a time frame that works for you.